Hello and welcome to Stillness and Success. I'm your host, Mustafa Nuristani. And today I've got a very exciting and very wise guest, an artist who has lived a very full life. And today we're going to just get a flavor of some of her amazing experiences. My guest today is Panagiota Stamatopoulou, and welcome to the program, Panagiota. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a joy, and I've been trying to have you on the program for some time, so I'm glad that we finally made it. And so now, you are an artist, and you've been an artist for a long time or a short time?
As far as I remember, from primary school, the teacher used to choose me for decorating the board at Christmas. I used to win these prizes, so I took up art when I woke up to the fact that my son was going to go in the army one day. I had no more children, and I thought I'd be still home and doing something which will give me some spending money and expand my awareness as art does.
Beautiful. And so what age was that when you decided to do that?
I was 25, I think.
Nice. You said your son went to the army?
That's when he was 18.
Mm-hmm.
That's much longer after. I brought him up by doing art. And when he turned 18, then he had to go to the army, because in Greece it's necessary that you do. And that's when I didn't like the fact that I'm going to be without my son, or I liked the duties and the sharing I did with him. And he was a good boy. He was sharing with me, and when I was sick, he was always there. In fact, he made me be a goalkeeper while he's practicing football in the big empty room we had to keep me alive. I was sad that he, at some stage in my life. So, I did art, and that made me transcend somehow to a certain extent, because an artist is a co-creator with God. You don't know when you're painting if it's you or your hand is moved by the Spirit of God. And I didn't know TM then. I did yoga though. And when I did yoga, I worked in a center in Athens, and I was putting all these tapes in order and getting free food. So I liked that, but I was always a very curious person. What's going on in that classroom? And one day, by mistake, I opened the wrong door, but not to make a noise. I stayed there. I stood still, and I watched them do all sorts of exercises, and I said, meditation. What is that meditation? The teacher said after yoga, its best results come from practicing a meditation. I had it in mind. I didn't ever get enough money to do it, or things happened along the way and brought me to Australia. Like an accident that I fell down the stairs in the ecology centre, which I was working there too. I was practicing reflexology on people.
Oh.
And then I left that health farm and came to Australia. When I arrived to Australia, it was so welcoming because I grew up here, and I was married 20 years in Greece. And when I arrived, I said, what am I going to do? But it's such a kind country. They gave me money to start off with, like everybody else gets. And then I started educating myself.
Beautiful.
I thought that was the best. So I started with health, nutrition, and herbal medicine, which I thought a healthy brain, a healthy mind lives in a healthy body.
Beautiful.
Doing all that, I still was wondering, what is meditation?
Now, before you go to that story about your discovery of meditation, I do want to, just for a moment, discuss this experience that you very eloquently talked about the hand moving during the painting, and you don't know whether it is you who is moving it or God who is moving it. Now, take us through that experience when you recently shared an oil painting with me. It was beautiful, very inspiring to look at. So, what happens when you stand in front of a canvas and you don't know what you're going to do, and then you start, and then what happens?
Well, I put a center point on my canvas, and then I feel this bliss, and I start thinking, not too much, but I think of beautiful things, what I like. And then came the horses in the painting that I sent you, because I love horses. I grew up in a farm with all kinds of animals, and in the country where we even had wild asparagus, everything was there. So I grew in something like a paradise village home. And so having a father who was a bit of an artist, he was a top photographer, actually, and he showed me things when I was little. So one of the things he and my Greek teacher showed me is how to draw a circle. Mm. When you're able to draw a perfect circle, it's very difficult to do it just by looking at the canvas like that, because it might have an extension there or there. So they taught me to turn the canvas around. And immediately you see one mistake, you correct that. Mm. And around and around. And then you get so used to it, it's like drawing a small O on a writing pad. That is how you do a circle. I become very happy because Giotto, the shepherd boy, I heard, someone teased him, oh, so you're an artist, prove it. So he did a circle, a perfect circle. Yeah, so it's mathematics, it's being a colorist, knowing color very well, and having a settled mind, because then the truth of your theme comes out. And then you start by the background, doing the sky, and then you come forward. You do the mountains, you do the lake and the trees, and you come closer. And last of all, when that's all dry, you do the grass and the flowers and the herbs and whatever. But also when you're doing a face, if you do a portrait, you study the person and automatically you work with maths, geometry. Otherwise, the face is not symmetrical. Mm. And so you use maths, which I was very good at school, and all the rest came natural.
Nice, beautiful. Moving forward, so that's your love for painting, where it's so beautifully you explain that you start with a single point and then you go back to infinity, which is the sky, and then you step by step come forward again to the subject matter. And it's such a beautiful way to describe that.
And one detail, you discover that you haven't been breathing. And, well, you do get breaths every now and then, but you're not breathing while you're doing art. It's a very close relative to meditation. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about meditation for a minute. So you're in Australia and you have been studying, and now you want to remember this thing that, okay, someone told me about meditation once, and I want to explore this idea of meditation. So then what happened?
Then to earn money, I started selling mountain air ionizers and nut biscuits for children. And I travelled all the way up and down the eastern coast of Australia to find a teacher, a good centre, or see where is this taught. And I came back without having found one. So I opened the yellow pages and I opened right on Transcendental Meditation. It was so musical, so reassuring, so, the title plays a big role because I'm involved with poetry and writing as well and music. So then I said, I better look at some more. And I looked through and I came back to that page. I rang up straight away to the Clifton Hill Centre. And the cook answered and said, well, why don't you come to Dallas Brooks Hall tonight? There's a big talk on Transcendental Meditation and listen to this introductory talk. So I got a taxi and went straight away. I was there nice and early, and then we were asked at the end to put up our hands if we want to practice it, and I was the first to put up my hand and sign the book.
Nice. Now, before you move ahead, I want to make everyone wait before we get to the good stuff. And let's have a break. Let's have a cup of tea, and then we'll talk more. So we've got some tea here from Maharishi Ayurveda. Our dear friends at Maharishi Ayurveda have sent us some nice pitta tea. This is very nice and it is very soothing. It's all natural and organic. So thank you, Maharishi Ayurveda, for your beautiful hospitality. So here's your cup.
Thank you.
It's very soothing, huh? I mean, these people are so wonderful. I said that I'm going to be, hosting this podcast, and I really want to have like a bit of a tea break because, we talk on a podcast, talk so much, and then your throat gets dry. So then
and it's
said,
a windy day.
Yes. Here we go. So now, let's go back. So you are in the lecture hall. You've heard about Transcendental Meditation. Now you're going to put your hand up. And so you were told that this is how it's taught and like that. And then what do you remember about your first experience of transcending?
It was beautiful. A beautiful state of restful alertness, a state where I've never been before to that place. And now I was in it, I was so happy. I thought, eureka, that's what was missing from my life. And the more I practiced it, and we had to do it in a group, and it was the elections for Victoria, and they weren't going to charge us for it. So I had it free, taught free. And it meant a lot to me then. Then I said, what to do in return? This is such a beautiful thing, It just changed my life completely. In every area of life, I was successful. All of a sudden, I had these silk flowers in the garage, not knowing what to do with them. There were too many. So it clicked that the horse races were coming, and so in Victoria, so I said I'll make hats and decorate them differently from everyone. And so I started selling one behind the other And then by the time I got home, they asked for more at the different shops, South Yarra, Carlton, everywhere. And I became very happy. I said, this is good. So I filled my car with people like from the Greek choir, the Poets and Writers Association, and opened my double garage with many seats and had lectures arranged in there for them.
Nice.
And they learned and they were successful. It was all good. And then I said, my son. So he came to visit me, so he learned TM. And then my mother came to visit me. She learned TM. And then my brother learned TM. Then my sister-in-law, then her daughter. So all the family meditates. And then this daughter-in-law, 2 daughters-in-law. My grandson, indeed, he's in university. And he said to me, he's 19, why didn't I know this before, Grandma? And so...
So now, what age were you when you learned TM? How old were you?
I was 44.
Okay, 44. And so you have continued meditating since then?
Yes, it was my priority because all went well when I did it. And if I didn't, nothing went well. And I believed in it so much. I loved it. It's my safety zone. It's my success. It's my happiness. I'm really happy when I do it. And it's my creativity assisting thing because it helps me create better paintings, more detail. I started to paint the little nerves of every petal of every flower.
Nice.
And now I'm painting, there's an aura around every petal of every flower. And you can see that only if you've got a settled mind. So I enjoy.
What is the mechanic of that? You said something very beautiful. With TM, you said, when I do it, everything went well. When I didn't, things didn't go so well. And, when we're practicing TM, what we're doing is physiologically, the brain becomes more coherent. So our thinking is more coherent. And so when we are thinking coherently, then we are acting coherently. And so then everything goes according to plan. Now, when we are not thinking coherently because we've got a lot of stress, and people say that I'm so stressed. They say, I'm stressed. They don't say, I'm Mustafa, I'm happy. They say, I'm stressed. It's as though stress has controlled their whole life and their actions and everything that they're doing. And so you beautifully said that this experience of transcending, while it's so nourishing inside, it's so precious to have that inner happiness just flow out of you. But it actually does something very practical. It allows you to make no mistakes. You live a life where you are just flowing from one activity to the next.
I think it moves you away from the stress of the collective consciousness. And then that's when you're safe. If people can realize that, they would never miss one program. Being caught in the collective consciousness, it's like being a politician that becomes a politician, or a doctor, let's say, anybody, becomes what they become in order to do good for the country, for themselves, for their families. But when they rise up to that position, they get caught in the collective consciousness and they sometimes go astray. And we need to understand that it's not their fault. We need to help them.
Now, this experience or this concept of collective consciousness, I think it's really important to just give a general idea. The collective consciousness is made up of individuals in society, and when individuals are experiencing stress, they are giving stress to the environment. And so in an area when most of the individuals are stressed, then the stress is collected in the collective consciousness, in the collective environment. And then the person representing that area or that country becomes the representative of that collective consciousness. So the term collective consciousness just means, everyone in society creating a kind of a consciousness that represents that country, which is a really beautiful term to play with. And now you're also a Maharishi Veda aromatherapy expert. You teach, see people, and you consult in this beautiful technology. Can you tell us what that is about?
Aromatherapy is a wonderful thing. It's using essential oils which come from the herbs and the flowers, which are, at least we use flowers which are pure, wild, harvested, and then they are medicinal, because in Maharishi's products, he wanted us never to use preservatives, because if you use one preservative, a little portion, the smallest portion, because there's intelligence in the flowers, they are live. They don't. They're not as useful as the ones that are pure. So I really admire the Maharishi products, every product, but in this case, essential oils are so different. They've been trying to sell me all sorts of things because I had a TV show and they wanted to advertise in it. But since I knew Maharishi products, I couldn't accept anything else. And it's true. This is true. You only have to have a range of essential oils and have the Maharishi products there, essential oils, they will stand out.
Mm-hmm. And so when someone comes to you and they want to have a consultation, because maybe they're suffering from some headaches and some other ailments, then you just go through that consultation with them and you offer them different aromas, and then they use them and find relief. Is that how it works?
There's more to it, because I happened to study in India, in Brahmastan, and we had top Indian teachers work with the French, German, and other teachers. And the interesting thing is we did what I had already done, but with other names, other terminologies, the Vedic way. So we did mama therapy. We did diagnosis, pulse diagnosis. So I did it there, I did it here. It's very important to know which aroma to use on the person. So not everything is for everyone, just as in Vata Pitta Kapha tea, there are Vata Pitta Kapha are essential oils.
Beautiful.
So we have to have some experience also, because
yes.
Not everyone who needs them can understand unless you're a very good speaker, to a very good communicator. So that's an important thing. And that's the way you approach people, by knowing how to communicate with them, seeing what they need. It shows in the face, the way they walk, the way they talk. But then the pulse diagnosis reassures you. And then they themselves start speaking, actually.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it's so wonderful to have you. That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much. Now, with the Maharishi, Ayurveda products have also sent us a little hamper, a little gift hamper for you to enjoy. These are a selection of their teas, like you said, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and also Be Trim. Not that you need to use that one, but this is for you. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. I've got a lot to share with all my friends now.
Yes,
and at
beautiful.
this point, I might say that instead of me buying all these gifts every time I go somewhere for some occasion, and I recommend it to all, to buy products from Ayurveda
Yes,
that were
beautiful.
doing good instead of sweets and chocolates. And although they are nice, please prefer the products.
It's good to have products that actually promote health and vitality. That's all we have for today. I'll let you put that on the side there. Great. That's all we have time for today. Thank you for your company. Join us next week where I have another interesting conversation with a wonderful soul. Have a great week and look forward to your company then. Take care.